Hey, what's up everybody out there in YouTube land? Elric Ferris, Editor-in-Chief, here once again on the Motherboards.org YouTube channel. Welcome back once again. Well, we've been doing many reviews lately on the new Sandy Bridge motherboards featuring the new P67 Express chipset and the H67 chipset. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the ECS board, the P67H2-A. Now, a lot of you people out there might not know ECS, but ECS is a company that's been around for many, many years. They've been making motherboards since the onset of the computer industry. They're just really more famous over in the Asia than here in the Americas. One thing about this box though that I really don't understand is it says that it supports the Marvell 6 gigabit controller. Now, I looked through the manual, looked on the board, and I don't know what this is doing in the box, but this is actually nowhere on the motherboard. Also, the manual could have been written quite a bit better. I found a lot of things in the manual to just give a user a little bit of information, not a lot of information. Like even when it talks about some of the chipsets and things like that, the information just was lagging in the manual. Like this P67 Express, when you're putting your stuff on to your SATA, it supports in the Intel, it supports 0, 1, 5, and RAID 10. Nowhere in the manual does it explain this, so if you were a user and you didn't know much about your motherboard, reading through the manual, you would not even know about this feature. As far as overclocking goes, this motherboard features some of its own type of semi-automatic overclocking, but not exactly overclocking features. They're more like a manual, semi-manual overclocking. Now, we were able to get our CPU, the 3.31, which is the 2500K, we were able to get that one up to about 4.7, and the 2600K, we were able to get about 4.6, 4.7 stably depending on how much juice we were putting into the thing. Memory on the board, overclock supports DDR3 up to 2133 megahertz. So now let's go ahead and let's just take a look at the board itself and see how its layout is. Okay, so starting off, we're going to take a look at the top of the board. We have the 8-pin power connector. This adds additional power to your CPU. And then we have the heatsink right over here, which shows this to be the Black Series motherboard. I might not have mentioned that in the introduction, but this is the Black Series of ECS motherboards. What this does right here is this keeps all of the caps running cool. And then we have the ZIF socket 1155 interface. Now, this can't be confused with the 1156 interface, which some people have been asking questions about. This is the new ZIF 1155. Don't make a mistake and burn your board. Moving over to the memory, you have 4 slots here supporting up to 32 gigabytes of DDR3. Currently, the 16 gigabyte sticks aren't available, but you can get the 8 gigabyte sticks now on the market. Here is your 24-pin power connector, and then also your fan for your heatsink. So there's not very much room around the heatsink area for putting aftermarket stuff, and I have to say that the color design, being the gray and black, looks a little utilitarian and drab. It's not that bad, but I think it could be a little bit better. Then we're going to move around here, and I'm going to go down here to the slots down here. Now, this board supports Hydra technology and also supports Crossfire technology out of the box, not SLI. Now, these are 16, 16, 16 slots, but if you're going to use them in unison, it either operates at 16, 8, 8, or 16, 16. There are 3 modes in Hydra. There is A mode that supports the AMD chips, N mode for NVIDIA, and X mode if you want to use a multitude of different cards. Now, using the Hydra technology, combining cards works about 40% maximum in its performance gain. It's not really software based, it's all hardware. So now we're going to move over here and we have the SATA ports. We have all these, by the way, are supported by the P67 chipset natively. We have the 6 gigabit here and the 3 gigabits here. You also get a reset button and a restart button right here on the motherboard. This is your USB 3.0 connection, which plugs in here and goes to either a bracket or a breakaway box. And then right down here, we have something different. On most of the other motherboards that we've taken a look at, this is usually a little thing that gives you an error reading code, but on this motherboard, it actually tells you the temperature of your board. That's something quite interesting. Now, we'll move along. We see right here, we have some external USB connectors. You have your audio stuff right here. Most of this stuff right here, you won't even probably use on your motherboard other than just hooking your case up. It's just there unless you hook up extra brackets. There's also 2 standard PCI slots and 2 1X PCI second generation slots. These you probably won't use very much either because there's not that much stuff out. But overall, you see, the motherboard is pretty much the basic of most of the P67 motherboards we've seen, with the option of the Hydra technology, which is a little different. Now, For those of you people out there who want SLI technology, you might want to go with a different motherboard. Also, as I stated earlier, this motherboard doesn't have any real just single touch overclocking like some of the motherboards we looked at, but you can do the overclocking manually. For your audio, it features the Realtek ALC892 chipset featuring 8-channel audio. Taking a look at the rear I/O, we see that we have a standard legacy PS2 keyboard port. You can put either your regular old mouse or keyboard into this port. Then there are 6 USB 2.0 controllers. That's these ones and these ones right here with a total of 6. These bottom 2 ports are eSATA. Neither one of them are powered, they're just standard eSATA. Then these right here are your USB 3.0 designated by blue, and then you also have 2 LAN ports supported by the Realtek chipset. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting about this is that these LAN ports actually kind of work like the shotgun technology that NVIDIA invented a while back. You can actually use both these ports at the same time, sending information to and from each one, which is pretty cool. You got your analog controls here, and you have a single SPDIF. You don't get a coaxial here. That's something I haven't seen on too many motherboards, but it may be a moot point to many. So we've seen some of the features. We've seen how the board is laid out. Let's jump right into the performance. So at the end of the day, what do we have here with this new ECS P67H2-A motherboard? We've got a pretty good motherboard here. It's priced in about the $149 range, so that's not going to break the bank. It's based off the P67 Express chipset. If you're looking for something that will run SLI, this is not the board for you. If you're looking for something that just has one button overclocking, this isn't for you. But if you're somebody who spends a lot of time on the internet and needs great internet connectivity, the Realtek, like I was talking about before, the shotgun type technology, that's a really good thing for those type of people. As far as performance goes, most of the P67 motherboards we've seen all run within like a 5 to 10% variation, if even that, of each other. The performance scores are pretty much down the line. Now, one thing I really didn't get a chance to talk about, because I kind of like learned this board pretty fast to get this video out to you guys, is this motherboard is made with quite a bit of gold. So the contacts on the board are called 15C in gold, and that means that they've gold plated many of the parts in the motherboard, which makes better connectivity and should extend the life of the motherboard. So beyond the lack of, the SLI technology, which may or not affect some users, I'm not really that thrilled with Hydra. Hydra's okay. It's cool for me. Like if you had a motherboard and you had a bunch of stuff like lying around that you had from a previous thing you just want to bring over and not buy new video cards, it might be worth your while. So I don't give the Hydra technology that much of a thumbs up or anything, because to me it's just okay technology. But at the end of the day, I can't see this motherboard as an editor's choice, but it's definitely a hot product. The motherboard is nicely laid out. It has some pretty good features. It's well priced and it's available through many channels. So thank you ECS for providing the board. Thank you watchers of YouTube, and I'll see you guys in our next video.